overseas, hundreds of people have taken to the streets in cities across Lebanon amidst escalating protests as the country faces a collapse in its currency. The Lebanese pound tumbled to a record low, having lost 70% of its value since October in 2019. On Thursday night, demonstrators who had gathered in the capital of Beirut vented their anger, setting fires and blocking roads. The depreciation of the Lebanese pound has plunged the country into the worst economic crisis in decades. Many Lebanese citizens who rely on a hard currency savings have fallen into poverty, their plight worsened by the coronavirus pandemic. Prime Minister Hassan Diab has called an emergency cabinet meeting to discuss the economic crisis. And that was a look at your news to 10 a.m. to noon on the Street 919 FM. Recapping the headlines. Nurses are upset over stipend for teachers. Police thwart kidnap attempt in South Trinidad. And in news overseas, demonstrations escalate in Lebanon as the country's currency takes a dive. Stay with us for more news on the Street 919 FM. We have the Street Sport Report coming up at 1 p.m. and our final major newscast coming up at 4 p.m.
News from the street. News from the street. 919fm.com.
Welcome to Info Update in the headlines. A new tank farm for Bacalet, a lifeguard tower underway for Boko Beach facility, and payment of compensation begins for Crown Point property owners.
Info Update. Informative,
insightful,
unfiltered.
The issues,
topics and conversations that affect you. This is the THA's Daily Info Update.
We begin with tourism and some plans to upgrade a number of sites and attractions in Tobago. Tank farms will soon be installed at the dance studio in Bacalet and Fort King George in Scarborough in order to alleviate the problems being experienced. This is according to Shamari Hector, Assistant Secretary in the Division of Tourism, Culture and Transportation.
The situation at hand is one in which when there is no water, it becomes very difficult to continue in the operations of the studio as well as that Fort King George, simply because there is inadequate water flow to sustain the activities there.
Mr. Hector says the THA is confident that inclusion of the tank farms will generate greater storage of water in large volumes. This is to ensure the doors of such service remain open to those who will benefit from the island's sites and attractions.
We know that the inclusion of a tank farm, all of the pumps and necessary facilities must be put in place, and we are working assiduously to ensure that we provide these basic facilities.
Mr. Hector made the announcement at the weekly Post-Executive Council media briefing on Wednesday, June 10th. We continue with an upgrade on marine affairs as it relates to the safety and security of beach lovers. In light of preparations to restore accessibility of beaches post-COVID-19, a new lifeguard tower will be erected at the Boko Beach facility. This was also announced by Assemblyman Shamari Hector at the media briefing.
We believe that it is of paramount importance to establish a lifeguard facility there to secure the safety and the well-being, not just of the people of Tobago, but all those who will grace those beaches and enjoy the offerings there.
In addition, upgrades will also be conducted at the Kings Bay Beach facility in Tobago East.
I had an opportunity to do visits to some of our sites and attractions. I would have had an opportunity to go to Pembroke Heritage Park. I went to Kings Bay Beach facility, the Fort King George Museum, and a few other sites. And I saw that there was need at the Kings Bay Beach facility to ensure that we bring up to standard the facility there.
Mr. Hector says the Kings Bay Beach facility is now earmarked as the Blue Flag Beach in which certain standards must be met with the necessary upgrades. The iconic Blue Flag is a certification by the Foundation for Environmental Education that a beach, marina, or sustainable boating tourism operator meets its stringent standards. It is one of the world's most recognized voluntary eco-labels. We close with an update on the acquisition of lands in Crown Point, Tobago. Approval has been granted for payment of compensation to the first 29 property owners whose lands are being acquired for the construction of a new airport terminal and associated works at the A&R Robinson International Airport in Crown Point. This first batch of land and property acquisition is estimated at a cost of $41 million, and the funding has been raised by the Ministry of Finance. Payment of compensation commenced earlier today, June 12, 2020, and was made by the National Infrastructure Development Company Limited, NIDCO, on behalf of central government and the Tobago House of Assembly. This first wave of compensation represents 5.3 acres of the 53 acres of land required for construction of the new terminal. The state will take possession of settled empty lands as
They say how we keep on growing older. Charity no longer on display. Instead of a hat like some have older, it getting more scary every day. Baby found in a dumpster. Oh, granny, they rap. We creating can't escape. Humanity's dying, savagery restore. Time to defrost ice and make hearts thaw. Hear me, Father, I need a song to face this crisis. To heal the nation, got through crime and all injustice. Song of inspiration, bring hope to the lost and hopeless. Children of the ghetto, to be the voice and the voiceless, today and tomorrow, to speak to the mighty, those who wear the crown, to humbly haughty, till they hear the ground, to tell every young and bandit, time for that to cease, a song to bring a tidal wave of peace. I need a song, I'm praying, Father.
All right, Trinidad Tobago. So I have on the phone line, as I promised that I would try to get. So I spoke to you all and I told you that I will try to get Pastor Desmond Austin on the phone line. And Trinidad and Tobago, I kept my promise. I had to kind of bend his hand a little bit because he don't like media and think too much, you know.
Right about that.
Dad, you're live, eh? So be careful what you're gonna say. He doesn't like the limelight. He doesn't like media. Am I right or wrong, Pastor Austin?
Man of God, you're so right.
Oh, man. Trinidad Tobago, this gentleman, I'm going to have him in studio one of these days, even though he doesn't like media, but he has to come on my program. He was instrumental in my development as a young man. And I just want to publicly tell him thank you very much for all that you have done for me and continuing to do for me.
Thank you so much. You know, in life, we all need mentors, and it's part of my call and grace, especially in this season of my life, to be a mentor. And I'm very happy to see you grown and to be where you are today in a place where you can speak to the nation.
Yes. What I wanted to talk to you about, the first thing I just wanted you to share with Trinidad and Tobago, your heart on young people like myself and others who are speaking out on political issues in Trinidad and Tobago. And not just Trinidad and Tobago, but the world. Because I have friends in the UK, I have friends in the States, and I also have friends in the Caribbean who would share from time to time issues on this platform. And we talk current affairs. I talk straight hardcore current affairs, politics, and issues that are confronting nations wherever I can touch base. And I wanted to hear sometimes, and I'll tell you that I don't know about balance now. I carry balance, it's either black or white, or we find some way of dealing with the issue head on. And I don't know about I can't do balance too well. Although I know you might be disappointed to hear that, but I really can't do the balance thing too good.
Right, okay.
So tell Trinidad and Tobago, what are your views on that as a senior pastor?
What do you mean, the church?
Getting involved in lending their voice, letting their voice be heard where issues are concerned in the nation.
Yeah. All right. So good day to all those that are listening on this station today. I want to say to the church and to the listening audience, it's time that we grow up as a church.
Wow. You
understand? Listen to this carefully. The church has developed what I call a myopic view of the world. Now, there's something in life, we call it a worldview. It means that everybody has a way in which they view the world. That simply has to do with your culture, it has to do with your upbringing, it has to do with things that have happened in your life and so on. All these things, your teachings, your beliefs, all these things have to shape your worldview. Now, as we go back into history, the church, after what we call the Reformation, in the days of Martin Luther, the church was very, very involved in all aspects of life, all domains of life was influenced by the church. Whether it was politics, whether it was religion, whether it was media, arts, entertainment, we often refer to that as the seven mountains. Then there came a period of time when we were impacted by what was known as the Enlightenment. And the church began thereafter to move in a way that brought the church into a very insular kind of way of looking at life. In other words, during the period of the Enlightenment, we're talking about the 1800s. We're talking about a period with Darwinism. We're talking about a period with Karl Marx and many others who impacted on life and the worldview. So there was a shift from a moral worldview to a worldview that was based on what was relative. In other words, there were no absolutes anymore. The church was challenged by science, and the church then somehow caved in. We caved in because rationalism triumphed over faith, and we compromised. And the church began to rationalize everything. So whereas everything was interpreted with a biblical worldview, things were now based on what we call a subjectivist worldview. It was based on how I see the world as versus how you see the world. It was no longer absolute. From that period, the church kind of began also the preaching about, just leaving. And nothing is wrong with being prepared to be translated, or what we call the rapture and so on. But we never focused on the world, as it were. The Bible says we are in the world, but not of the world. We never got into politics. We never got into things that concern the secular. So there was a big dichotomy between what we call the secular and the secret. And that has persisted down through the generation. So let's come now in this 21st century and talk about the church and politics. Indeed, there has to be a separation in terms of what we call the church and the way we see something. But that separation is not alienation. So I believe because we're called to be light, because we're called to be salt, the church must be involved in every domain of life. Whether it's politics, whether it's religion, whether it has to do with media, arts, culture, entertainment, we have been missing, sadly. and there is a need for the voice of the church. Now, when we talk about the church in politics, we must recognize the church involved in politics must be more so as an influencing power. We are not a replacement to politics, but we must have an influence, as I said before, salt life. The Bible even says we as a kingdom must have a sense in which we are east. East makes things different. Salt makes things different. Light brings some meaning into darkness. And so we must be involved in politics as a church to the extent that we are not in politics as a power influence, but an influence as salt and light. And that is the difference. You know, we're not replacing the politicians, but of course you can be a politician because the book of Timothy says, pray for all that they might be saved. If you're a politician and you get saved, what are you going to do? Not continue in politics? And we have many that are saved that are in politics. And we thank God for them. We continue to pray for them. All right, so that's my quick answer.
Thank you very much. And how do you feel about the 1 hour that have been given to the churches?
Yeah, I was a part of the process in the sense that the Council of Evangelical Churches, which I represent as the president, we made our submission. Not only that, but we had one of our doctors on the inside. And while it is that there was a call for 1 hour, we insisted that the wording, see, there's something called the letter and there's something called the spirit.
Yeah.
So we insisted that the wording of that document should suggest that a recommendation of an hour. It's not mandatory. If anybody look at the wording of the document, it's recommended. Right? So like I was saying to someone a while ago, it's highly improbable that you can ideally have a service in 1 hour when you have to not become mechanical, but you have to be orderly in terms of your offering, in terms of your teaching, in terms of all the protocols that are involved. It demands a sense in which things must be done in a very discreet way and a very orderly way. So it will entail at least more than an hour. So there's a sense of flexibility. Nobody's saying you want to abuse it and you go 2 hours and that kind of thing. But ideally, if you go an hour, 15 minutes, hour, 20, hour, and 30 minutes, I see nothing wrong with that because in the guidelines itself, a lot of opportunity, I use the word strongly there, but I should rather use the word flexibility is given to the man of God, the woman of God, the person overseeing the service. A flexibility in the sense that it speaks to the way we do things. It is a guideline so that you would not abuse people as well as abuse the opportunity. So the 1 hour is recommended. It is not mandatory. That's the wording of the document itself.
Thank you very much. Because I think that that some persons would have, as you said, may have misunderstood or misread into the statements. Because you're hearing all sorts of persons now lashing out and saying the government have no right to dictate to the church what time we should meet and when we should end. The government is out of place, they fast. And all those statements are being made. And again, you know, I'm so glad for your wisdom that you have come on and you have cleared up some misinformation and some I know there are people who think that also, Pastor Austin, I want to let you know this, there are people who are using social media, right, and putting out there that you all have no say. The only people who had a say in this whole discussion was the Catholic Church. No other denomination was asked their views. The only and let me tell you how misleading people were when they put out their information there, and they would put it out there so arrogant and so passionate that you would really believe that the Catholic priest or the Archbishop spoke on my behalf or spoke on your behalf, and you were never consulted.
Yeah.
You were never consulted.
But any casual reading of the document in its introduction, you will notice the names of the organizations that were involved inclusive of the Roman Catholics, even the Hindus and Muslims. You'll see Seventh-day Adventists, you'll see the Council of Evangelical Churches. You see the Association of Independent Ministers. It's all there. And then when you list the acknowledgements, you're going to see the second name after Dr. Parison, Dr. David Bellamy. He represented us not just in terms of submission, but he was a voice on the whole formation of the guidelines.
Wow.
And so more than that, he insisted on some of the things that I just spoke about in terms of recommendations rather than mandatory in terms of an hour. So the idea is that of a partnership. We did not go there and just have things imposed upon us.
Wow.
We had the opportunity to be a voice that made this thing possible. Yeah, but some people are ignorant, and ignorance is not bliss, neither is it bliss.
I'm going to send you some information, Dad, when you come off the phone, and you are going to be pleasantly shocked by what I'm going to send you. Trust me, you're going to be really surprised from hearing a preacher and how he spoke. You're going to be really, really hurt and surprised. And that is why I want to say to you before you come off, that is why we need men like you in our lives. We need, the scripture talks about fathers. We have all the different ministries, but the ministry of a father, spiritual father. Let me tell you, I'm telling you this on national radio, and I really hope you hear what your son's saying to you. There are some young men, there are some renegades that we need to reel in because they are really doing this justice to the kingdom of God. I'm going to send it to you now, and you're going to understand what I'm saying to you. Because you see what you're saying to me here now? There are a lot of pastors who are saying things that they have no evidence of.
Well, that's the unfortunate thing. And that is the misinformation that we were trying to correct yesterday. We had a Zoom meeting, and we had a link where we invited as many men of God, women of God, people from all walks, in terms of Christendom.
Yes.
To be a part of the whole process, to hear, understand. It was a Q&A, question and answer. So people can have all their questions answered, but then people stay away from these things. They are not maybe aware in some instances. But there's an opportunity to do things differently. The church is kind of unfortunate, locked in a set of antagonism, and sometimes we come off on the bad end because we are not aware of a better way of doing things. And I think it's time for us to grow up and become a real legitimate voice in this nation, rather than just being antagonistic about everything, and make sense of what we do and say, rather than just being like if we are myopic and bound by some mindset that is in the the 21st century now.
And I want to
we have to wake up and grow.
And I want to publicly thank you for taking this time to come on. And I want to publicly thank you also for all the rebuke and all the discipline. No, because when people hear me on the radio, and I always refer, and you know Pastor Mackenzie very well, right?
Yeah.
You know Pastor Mackenzie, and I always refer to him, and I always talk about the influence you all have in my life. You all had a strong influence in my life. So when I hear people, when people think that they could just roll over and make me think like I could just roll over and play dead. No. These kind of when people like you in my life will never happen.
Yeah, because fathers do rebuke them.
Thank you.
And that's the father's saying.
Thank you very much, Dad, for coming on. Yeah. And I hope one day you will grace the studios of the Street 919 FM.
I'll be happy to do that. It's a pleasure. God bless you.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much, Dad. Bye-bye.
Seems that we returned.
Boy. I don't know what to say again, I think I good, boy. I real good. You wanna say something? You wanna say something? You wanna talk to the nation? Okay, all right. No, I'm live now, so I don't know if you want to say something. You have something you want to tell the nation? You want to read? Yeah.
Work from home in style. The Lotto Plus jackpot has rolled to an estimated $2.7 million. Imagine checking emails from your mansion when you win a life-changing $2.7 million. 2 persons won $50,000 in the last draw. Match 5 numbers and you can too. Get out and get your tickets for Saturday's $2.7 million Lotto Plus jackpot draw. Winners always play safe. Winners always play Lotto Plus. Triple J Glass Supply. Grand opening on Monday, 15th of June 2020 at Smithfield Trace, number 2, Scarborough. We provide glass of all types and shapes for your aquariums, showcases, windows, doors, louvers, podiums, cake stands, replacement of broken windows in your homes, also replacement of plexiglass on your vehicle. Here at Triple J Glass Supply, we also supply and install commercial doors. First customer to buy a bath enclosure gets free installation, and the first 2 customers to purchase any item get a mirror free. For more info, you can call 721-5786 or email us at all lowercase triplej.glass@hotmail.com. Triple J Glass Supply. Fixing glass is our job.
And let's tell them about Iowa, about what's happening today. What's happening today at 7 p.m.
Iowa Stage. Installment for Friday, 12th June. We have Singing Francine and Contender. Tonight at 7 p.m. Tomorrow we have, tomorrow on Saturday, 13th of June, we have Chutney Clash, male versus female. Amit Sagram versus Chutney Empress Kavita Ramkisoon. Sunday, 14th of June would be Comedy Night, as usual. Iowa Stage will be streaming live from Instagram at lowercase at Iwer George and the Street 919 FM. Facebook, Neil Iwer George and the Street 919 FM. And YouTube, Iwer TV and Street Online Trinidad. This concert is free, but if you wish to make a donation to our guests, you are free to do so on fundmetnt.com. Don't forget to tune in and be a part of these dynamic series of concerts. Iowa Stage, one-on-one with the artists, supported by Tuco, taking care of business through our music.
To bring strength to all the helpless, to be the eyes of the sightless.
Let's talk from the streets. The official station that defends the nation.
This Saturday on Iowa Stage.
Yo, what up, friends? It's your boy Stargram here, and you see this coming Saturday, the 15th of June. It's all about yours truly, Amit Stargram, heading down to Iowa Stage. Yes, Iowa Stage for the first time ever Chutney Clash. You heard it, the first time ever Chutney Clash. Iowa Stage, that's this coming Saturday, the 13th of June. I'm going to be singing against my sister in the business, Kavita Ramkisoon, the Chutney Empress. So we're going to be live from 8 p.m. on Facebook, Street 919 FM and 101.7 Facebook page. You all keep it locked. Don't you miss it. This coming Saturday from 8 p.m. Yours truly, Instagram, Kavita Ramkisoon. See you.
Hey guys, this is Igil Kavita Ramkisoon, your Chutney Empress, and on Saturday, June 13th, I am coming to Iowa Stage on 919. We're having something called a Chutney Clash. And guess who I'm up against? Amit Sagram. That's my boy, you know. But you see, Saturday is no mercy. We starting at 8, so don't be late. It's 2 Chutney Soca finalists ripping it up on one stage. The vibes real nice. Don't miss it, you know.
Streaming live on Instagram at Iwer George, Facebook Neil Iwer George, and YouTube Iwer TV. It's Iowa Stage.
With changes in operations due to COVID-19, over 10,000 TNTech customers have signed up to pay their bill online and receive bills by email. Commercial and residential customers, do business with TNTech online today. Sign up at www.ttec.co.tt/CWA.
Get interactive with the Street 919 FM.
All day, every day. See us all live on our Facebook page.
Share and comment on our show.
Like our page.
Chat with our live on-air announcers.
The Street 919's Facebook page.
Live and interactive all day, every day. The Street 919 FM.
Come talk with us.
Enagic change your water, change your life. Enagic water purifier, one machine, 5 types of water. Enagic makes strong Kangen water with an 11.5 pH. Kangen water with 8.5 to 9.5 pH, healthy drinking and cooking water. Clean water with 7.0 pH. Beauty water for skin, hair, and plants with a 6.0 pH. Strong acid water with a 2.5 pH. This water is known to disinfect, kill viruses and bacteria. Listen to the Street 919 FM with Pastor Alkaline John every Tuesday from 11:05 a.m. to noon and every Wednesday from 8:05 p.m. to 9 p.m. as he talks to you weekly about how to improve your quality of life through purifying and drinking water. For more information, call or WhatsApp Pastor John at 516-286-7079.
Wondering what's for lunch or dinner? Jenny's on the Boulevard has lots of specials for you from May 11th to May 23rd. Enjoy 10% discount for groups of 5 orders or more and pickup orders of $500 or more. 10% off with valid ID, police, army and other emergency services. 20% off all government ministry orders. 30% off desserts. Grab and go mini assorted desserts, $60. 30% off beers and fruit drinks. Free delivery on orders over $300. 10% discount for orders over $500. Free delivery plus 10% discount for orders over $1,000. Choose from our famous Chinese-style express buffet, the American menu, burgers, ribs, and more. Italian menu, pasta, and more. Opening daily between the hours of 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Call us today at 625-1807, 395-3757, or 488-8800. Take-out, curbside pickup, or delivery available. Jenny's on the Boulevard for all your Chinese, American, and Italian needs.
Supermarket and buy a prepaid kit. Still need to get help. Simply install yourself. Time for activation. WhatsApp with no hesitation. Get 15 days free and HBO for 15. Turn on Direct TV. Easy as. Get your prepaid TV. Easy as 1, 2, 3. Turn on Direct TV. Easy as. Get your prepaid TV. It's easy as 1, 2, 3.
Easy as 1, 2, 3 to get Direct TV prepaid. Buy your kit in store. WhatsApp 390-3288. Visit directtvcaribbean.com to activate. Turn on no drama TV with Direct TV.
Turn on Direct TV.
Talk your talk, but we know talk. Come talk with us. The Street 919 FM.
They say how we keep on growing older. Charity no longer on display. Instead of a hat like some have older, it getting more scary every day. Baby found in a dumpster. Oh, granny, they rap. We creating can't escape. Humanity's dying. Savagery restore. Time to defrost ice and make hearts thaw. Hear me, Father, I need a song to face this crisis. To heal the nation. Got through crime and all injustice. Song of inspiration. Bring hope to the lost and hopeless. Children of the ghetto. To be the today and tomorrow, to speak to the mighty boys giving in to his demon urges. Riddled bodies die while babies cry. We producing orphans in constant supply. Sale of human organs, organs straight and by. In this age of robots, we done lost we soul. We stay afloat by remote control. Yeah, my father, I need a song to touch the conscience, to heal my nation, bring the bell against rape and violence. Song of inspiration, to be some food to the hungry, children of the ghetto, to calm the mood of the angry, today and tomorrow, to speak to the fallen, lost and trampled down, to force them out upon, and give each a tongue, to loosen every shackle, a beat to make feet dance, to give every former slave a chance. I need a song of praying, Father. Papa, give me a song. Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah Rapha, you are my song. I'm praying, Father. Papa, give me a song. Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah Rapha, you are my song. 'Cause our day's coming soon, when the tide led by the moon shall rush upon the sand, wash land away. When the lion and the lamb shall greet the great I am, prove man is nothing more than mud, than clay. Scientists claim days are getting warmer. The phenomenon known as climate change. But Kim and Trump threatening nuclear trauma. The map of the world they wanna rearrange. In the Atlantic Ocean, cyclones stir and churn. Tragic devastation make our neighbors mourn. While the bear and eagle wrestle in the dust, we see a president that none can trust. Heavenly Father, I need a song to face this crisis, to save the nation, drown out all that clung and racist. Song of inspiration, to bring strength to all the helpless, children of the ghetto, to be the eyes of the sightless, today and tomorrow. For those who don't have plenty, a song to make them strong. All who belly empty, to help them hold on. In this time of anguish, in these days of pain, to help my country ease and breathe again. I need a song I'm praying, Father. Papa, give me a song. Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah Rapha, you are my song I'm praying, Father. Papa, give me a song. Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah Rapha, you are my song. For those who sick and down with cancer, so let them know God is the answer. For single mothers beaten, broken, it's not over till God has spoken. For that youth facing deep depression, can't find a walk in this recession. For that man by one thread hanging, so he know hope and help is coming. I'm crying, Father, Papa, you are my soul. Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah Rapha, my rock, my soul. I thank you, Father.
right, My Rock, My Song, Karina Shea. And remember, this evening on Iowa Stage, you have Singing Francine. And she's going to be with us on Iowa Stage this evening. So you can't afford to miss that Trinidad and Tobago. All right, Singing Francine and Mr. Contender this evening on Iowa Stage. All right, so I'm going to take some calls until 1 o'clock. And at 1 o'clock, you have Miss Julia Davy and Mr. Kukurit coming to join us. All right. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Once more, Pastor Google, the CTH and my co-host for the morning. I just wanted to add to what you were saying earlier. I think you are, as everybody was saying, that most of the people call, we are very open and give everybody an opportunity once they haven't crossed the line. I noticed that the power of listening is very important in communication, and it's an important factor even in prayer, where meditation and prayers go hand in hand, and the power of listening. And I always have the view that when you hear the other side, the people who are opposed to your views politically and otherwise, you have the upper hand by having to sit and evaluate where they are coming from, and also the listeners, so it makes it interesting. I just wanted to share that, and I wanted to commend Iwer George for the station and the employees for the wonderful work that you all are doing, especially on stage. And this evening, Francine and Contender are performing. And I'm a fan of hers with Castle Rose in my early childhood as Calypso.
All right, thank you very much, caller. Hello, good morning. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon again, Pastor Google. Pastor Google, you know what I don't understand? With people saying, or they're saying that 1 hour is not enough. But what about before the time? You couldn't even get half an hour or 10 minutes. When you get an hour now, appreciate it. And as time roll on, you will come back to a custom here 2 hour service or 3 hours. I mean to say, oh my God, what has happened to my people? Eh? Oh God, man. Eh. Okay, Pastor Google.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. So I'm taking your calls on 342-0081, 771-1791, 466-5391. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. Hey. Caller, you're not there. All right, let me play some voice notes. I neglected my voice notes today. I want to play some voice notes for you. Let me take this caller here again. Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. Mr. Booker, how are you today?
Hi, good afternoon.
Yes, how are you today, sir?
I am okay, sir.
Well, I just want to make a statement here, a little correction. Goodman, yesterday, he said Panama and 3 Panamas. Only 2 Panamas that Panama. Okay?
Okay. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Pastor Google.
Good afternoon, how are you?
I am good, I am fine. Thanks to the pastor that just spoke just now. Nice. Pastor Google.
Yeah?
I want to talk to Mr. Iwer George. Iwer George, my son, what a wonderful performance last night. But Pastor Google, I get tired of this last night, you know. When I hear it might be the first tune. I said, where I find him from? I said, when I hear the second one and third one, I hear the man start to sing. I said, hey, when he come out, Pastor Google, that was fantabulous. The man is a real, he's got multi-skilled, you know. Pastor Google, amen?
Loud and clear, loud and clear.
Yes, I want to thank our judge, and I want to tell all the people, all the really good, all the missing. Well, I invite them and share for them to come, because they hear bacchanal, and they hear confusion. They're coming out and they're running, they want to hear the cussing. But what a beautiful thing to go to sleep. After you hear that kind of program, you go to bed. You have a soothing interest. So I want to tell them tonight in the evening better, because we have to sing the fancy device.
Yes.
And we haven't heard the other person consent now.
Yes.
And Pastor Google, the job is well done. I feel proud of this radio station. I feel proud of all of you guys who put this thing together. And one compliment to you. Pastor Google, I'm watching you now. I love the scenery in the back of you.
Thank
the
you.
Of San Fernando,
Yes.
Oh God, how beautiful.
Yes.
And it's a morning show, Pastor Google. Beautiful scenery who locked onto the street. They will see what a nice scenery I will be back to you there. I will just go to the head of the class, man. Nice job. Okay, Pastor Google, thank you very much.
Thank you. Hello, good afternoon, caller.
Good afternoon, Pastor Google.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, I want to change your program, eh? It's a long time I wanted to try to get onto you, to give you, to tell you something. Now, I ain't calling nobody name, eh? Right? You do it, eh?
I'm listening.
Right. I ain't calling nobody name. I don't know the person. The person was just traveling with me. Right? I'm a taxi driver. You're supposed to know this voice.
Go ahead, caller. How much time? Time is going.
Okay, I and a guy going to south side, and we discussing about crime and this different things with police and drugs and whatnot and things. And up come this guy from one talk to the next, and up come this guy, turn around and he tell me, he said, look, for instance, police do a lot of wrong things. And police just stick for police. He said, look, like Sakmaj, nephew, was shoot the young boy in Point Water.
All right, caller. All right. Now, I can't, you see you trying to get me in trouble. I can't, all right. So the views of the caller is not the views of the Street 99 FM. I don't have any evidence of that. People might have the facts on it. I don't have any evidence of that. All right, callers, you'll have to be a little more responsible. All right, I don't know about any shooting or anybody nephew or anything like that. So let me first of all say that the views of the caller is not the views of the Street 99 FM.
The views expressed are not necessarily the views of the management of the Street 919 FM.
So, caller, I can't allow you to continue because I don't have any evidence of what you speak of. All right? Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Pastor Google.
Good afternoon, sir.
And I just know the program later. But like Oli was talking about some pastor saying that the hour is not enough to put.
No. We had a pastor who said that he was a part of the consultation about the hour, and he was saying that it's not permanent. It's something that
temporary. It's temporary.
Yeah, and he was saying that people thought that it was
permanent.
There was some misinformation that went out there about the Catholic Church spoke on behalf of all the churches, and he's the president of evangelical churches, and he said that they were there.
That's why I'm on the TV. I wanted to say I saw on the TV what morning it was, and you were talking about
yes, and that's the pastor that I had on, Pastor Desmond Austin.
Right, he was on the TV, and I heard him very well.
Yeah, very
well. But you see, somebody had to listen properly before you could come out with anything. You must get the evidence straight.
Yep.
But it's a plain. All we need is to say, Lord, have mercy upon me, a sinner. That's all we need, and how long will it take us?
All right, man.
Okay.
Thank you. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi.
Pastor Google?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good day to you.
Good day to you.
Oh, Lord. I got on to you since Mother Sunapuna calling, and I hear Mother Suna and the next man talking. So I hope I have enough money to make my contribution.
Sure.
I'm looking at the newspaper today on page 6 because I wanted to look at it. U.S. tells TNT business people comply with Venezuela's sanctions.
Yes.
So I hope they could thank Ms. Kamala Processor and the UNC for that. I want you to read the story because they tell them that you saw it?
But I didn't get a chance to get into it because St. Jude and they were protesting outside the hospital, the mental hospital, and I would have dealt with that. And then what happened was that when Pastor Austin would have come in and clear up the whole misinformation about what's happening with the churches and the 1 hour. Yeah.
All right. Well, see, to get a quick read of it, right? They're telling CNC business people, anybody who's dealing with Venezuela, they will deal with them. So let us thank Ms. Kamala and the UNC government for that. The business people will be feeling it right now. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. That's an interesting discussion to have. And I'm sure that Miss Juliet Davy and Mr. Kokorit, Miss Juliet Davy, yes, I'm calling her name big and bold. That lady who comes on from 1 o'clock on a Friday, Miss Juliet Davy, will be dealing with the issue. And that is Dennis Plummer. And I'm telling you, on Iowa stage, you might just be hearing Miss Dennis Plummer. Eh? Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Pastor Gogo.
Yes, sir.
I'm a first-time caller.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm a leader in the faith of the Baptist.
Right.
And I want UNC to know.
Before you say anything, but oh gosh, he gone. I wanted to talk to him because I was hearing some Baptist leaders saying that an hour, or as Pastor Austin said, the time was too short. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, Pastor Google, good afternoon. Pastor Google, you have a church in town, right? You got to go in. You have to change your money into.
I don't know that. Or they're putting me in problems. I have no evidence of that. Let me leave this place with this, eh?
The views expressed are not necessarily the views of the management of the street.
But we know talk and talk with us.
Street
919 FM.
This Saturday on Iwer Stage.